See my notes. Hi, everyone. Welcome. All right, we're going to give folks just a minute to come on. And then we're going to talk about money. I've been having the song Money, 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 Money playing in my head for a while. Been doing a lot of interviews and talking about money for April. We are doing a whole series on money, both on YouTube lives on Unwrapped and also on the podcast. So if you have not checked out the podcast, definitely do so. We put them up here on YouTube as well, or you can go check out Food Business Success over on all your podcasting platforms. But welcome. I'm Sari Kimball. I am the creator of Food Business Success, and I help packaged food businesses. I help entrepreneurs start and grow their packaged food business dream. So whether you want to be on at farmers markets, you want to be on your own website, you want to go onto store shelves, you want to be on Amazon, you want to go into restaurants. I've had people go into cruise ships or home shopping network. There's actually some really interesting options out there when you get creative. And in any case, whatever that delicious product you make in your home kitchen, I am here to help you bring that product to life and do it legally, do it with profit in mind so that you are actually going to be a sustainable business and to have some fun doing it and really come out of the gate strong and put your best foot forward when you do start that business. All right. So we're talking about money this month. Like I said, we're talking about it all on the podcast. Have some great interviews coming up. I put out a generosity challenge to you guys April 1st. It's both on YouTube or the podcast. So definitely go check out the generosity challenge and let's see if we can't like increase our money tolerance. And you know, it's interesting talking about money. We don't love it so much, especially in the United States, where I'm at. Talking about money can be a little bit gauche. It can, just be like cringeworthy or just maybe seems like not appropriate. But here's the thing: you are starting a business, and if you want to uncover all of your business all of your money drama, go start a business. Because I know so many of you are coming from this like passion place and you just want people to enjoy your product. But the reality is, if you don't make money to sustain your business and to help it thrive, then you're not going to be in business for very long doing what you want to be doing meaningful work. Money does, in this case, when you're in business for yourself, it makes the world go round. And I'd like to look at money not from a take, give me money standpoint, but how are you creating value in the world and putting it out there for others to choose to participate in? When you sell your product, you are solving a problem or you are fulfilling a desire or need for me, for all of us. And so I love to pay for products that solve a problem, that help me really celebrate food and taste delicious. Like, there's no shame in that. And so I'm doing a lot of talking about money and money mindset on the podcast. But today on this video, I want to talk a little bit more about what to expect as far as getting started with your packaged food business. So I'm going to talk about what to expect as far as startup costs and some ideas on where you can go look for that money, where I'm seeing people getting creative. All right, and then be sure that you subscribe to the Food Business Success YouTube channel. We have a big goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers, I think by the end of the quarter. I should know that, but I'm pretty sure that's it. And so we would love for you to subscribe and like this video below, and please comment and let us know what you thought of this. Okay, so It's not an easy, straightforward answer when people say, how much money do I need to get started to get this business off the ground? It really ranges. And I like to say, your recipe, so to speak, is made up of several different components. So the amount of money is determined by the product that you actually are making. So this is why I do a tailored approach inside food business success, because it is not a cookie cutter kind of thing. It's not like granola is the same as I don't know, like a cupcake with buttercream frosting, and that's not the same as kimchi, and it's not the same as a dairy product or a meat product. And frozen or refrigerated or shelf stable, all of these things can contribute wildly to the cost to get started. And I'm sorry, I have like a little tickle in my throat. Take a drink here. Try not to cough. Excuse me. So, of course, like I'm fine all day, and then as soon as I get on live, a little tickle in my throat. Okay, so depending on your product, wildly different, and so that is definitely one of the biggest contributing factors. And then where are you going to sell your product? That's the other piece. So if you're going to be at a farmer's market, if you're going to go onto Amazon, if you're going to do your own website, if you want to go on store shelves, those are kind of the main places that people go when they're starting a packaged food business. So those two things really, really will radically change your costs. So I like to say, if you're going to start cottage food, and I go into this in a lot more detail if you're thinking about farmers markets, especially inside the farmers market masterclass, which is free. Dina will throw the link up in the chat. But I go into even more depth on this. But I'd like to say, if you're going to start cottage food at a farmer's market and maybe your own website, I would say $1,000 is kind of what you need to get you started. It's going to be pretty simple, pretty basic. Like, these are the minimums. You can always spend more, of course. But these are going to be simple labels. You're probably, you're not going to hire a graphic artist for that price. You're going to be buying in small quantities. So your price per unit is going to be a little bit higher, but it's what it's going to take to get you off the ground, to get you that farmers market boost so that you can start bringing in some cash. And then you're paying for things as you go, and then you're able to save up and to get that, to consistently evolve your brand so that you can continue to invest in better packaging or more, bulk ingredients, bulk labels, to get better labels, to get a graphic designer, to work with somebody like me or do food business success, so you can keep evolving and getting better. But this is kind of just like, I call it the MVP, right? The minimum viable product, what you need money-wise to get that product to market. So if it is what's called potentially hazardous food or non-potentially hazardous food, but you also want to be going into wholesale, or you want to be, usually cottage food, you can only sell inside your state. So if you want to be offering your product outside of your state, you want to go into Amazon, any of those other places, you're going to need a regular license. And it can really vary whether you need one license or two. And again, it depends on the product. It depends on if you're doing farmers markets and wholesale. So it's this combination of factors. But I say in there that, a non-potentially hazardous food, if you want to get that to a farmer's market situation, that's probably about $3,000 to $5,000. If it's potentially hazardous and you're only at a farmer's market, it's maybe a little bit more, like $4,000 to $5,000. But if you're serious about launching your product right out of the gate, to go on the store shelves, to go onto Amazon, there are additional costs involved, and I highly recommend working with an expert like myself. Work with me inside Food Business Success to help you as well. But it is going to require things like barcodes and a sell sheet and better designed labels and a nutrition facts panel and the right licenses and working inside of a commercial kitchen. And in order to make the profit margins work to actually make money in your business, you're going to need to get ingredients and packaging and all of that stuff in larger quantities to get those bulk discounts. So I would, in that case, if you really are like, no, I want to start out of the gate doing wholesale, I want to start on Amazon. Oh, and photography is another one, especially with Amazon, super important. I have some amazing Amazon folks that I work with who help people get set up correctly the first time. But I mean, ads and all of that stuff. So Amazon can definitely be a big expense. There also might be food science or food testing, shelf life testing, some things like that. Again, it's all super product specific. But I would say coming in with at least $10,000 really needs to be what is at your, that's available to you. It's not that you need $10,000 from day one, but that over the course of 3 to 6 months that you have access to that you're able to get that. So that is kind of, again, it is very product specific. It might be a little bit less if it's something simple like a granola. If it's something more challenging, that's definitely going to be more. When people are really serious about doing it right the very first time, really going big, and it might even be closer to $20,000, especially if they want to work with me one-on-one. So starting a packaged food business is not a get rich quick scheme by any means. It is definitely a business of passion and of love. And people have a real conviction for this. Like, I know one of my guests on a podcast recently who's in food business success said it's like a fire in her that she just has to tend to, that she can't not do this business, right? And so I know that so many of you guys are in that same spot. You're just like, this voice just is telling me I have to do this. But I want you to be realistic about the upfront costs. And that is why I often recommend starting at a farmer's market situation, especially if you can start with cottage food, so that you can start getting some cash flow going. Now, where do people get this money? I mean, obviously, some people just have the money, and that's great. But I talk with a lot of you guys when you apply for Food Business Success, and I really make that program very, very affordable. It is meant for people bootstrapping who want to do it themselves, but also want somebody, me, helping them, guiding them along the way, also keeping them accountable, but making sure that we're doing things correctly the first time and not wasting time and money. But there are a lot of upfront costs, and the margins are not super big on a food business, especially when you're small. So this is definitely a labor of love and a labor of time. And so I always like to say you need to have a really strong why. So what is that why? And if it's just something you have to do, then where do you get that money if you just don't have it? So a lot of times people ask me, like, are there grants out there that I can get? I'll be honest, like, grants are not just falling from the trees, especially when you're a for-profit business. So sometimes, I would check with your small business development center, and they have fantastic resources and great consultants. So wherever you live in the United States, there is a small business development center in your county. And you really should take advantage of that and go and talk with them. They have access to microloan funding, so tiny little loans with, you don't need a lot of credit or guarantees or anything like that. The interest rates are a little bit higher, but they will loan you money very quickly. Your SBA 7A loans are another option. And the great thing is that A lot of loans will only, a lot of business type loans will only fund capital purchases, but the 7A loan will fund, you can use part of that as working capital. So your time and all of the inputs that you need. I mean, a lot of people, so I've had people cash out like paid time off, or even take money out of their 401k, or friends and family is a big one, right? Or just saving up money. I mean, honestly, we live in a side hustle, a gig economy. And even with a pandemic, Instacart, Amazon drivers, and, you know, working for Amazon, Uber and Lyft are still a thing. Like, there are really creative things out there. I mean, Airbnb or Turo, you could rent out your car. Like, if you open yourself up to what are all the ways that I could create money, and start building up this foundation of money to get started. Like I said, you don't need it all from day one, but how could you be generating this money for you? I have had a client do a Kickstarter, and they were very successful at it, but it is actually a fairly sizable upfront cost. So for, you know, getting maybe, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 35 grand, there was, you know, maybe 10 grand of upfront costs. So unfortunately, even for Kickstarter kind of crowdsourcing funding, you do need some money up front for a lot of it. But you could always try GoFundMe as well. And I've just seen a lot of people get really creative. You know, you could do even in trade or things like that. I've had people do that for their kitchen time, where they do some trade. So lots of ways to get creative out there. I highly encourage you. I just recorded a podcast where I was said, banish the words "I don't know" from your vocabulary. What if you did know, right? Ask yourself that instead, and open yourself up to possibility. All right. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to type them in. These are just these like bite-sized little videos talking about one topic. We call them Unwrapped for fun, but really wanted to talk to you guys in a different capacity about money, since I'm talking about that on the podcast too. So definitely go check that out. And I would love for you to join the Generosity Challenge this month, and then go and join the private Facebook group in Facebook for the Food Business Success, and post a photo and talk with us about, share your generosity, your participation in the Generosity Challenge. I did mine last weekend, and it was amazing. It was so fun. And I just really enjoyed it. And I know it really helped open me up to receiving more and to being in the flow of abundance. So a packaged food business is going to cost you money. Working with me is going to cost you some money, but it is very doable. And I see people come up with the money. I spread the payments out over 6 months. So again, you don't need everything right up front, but be ready to invest something. You cannot start a packaged food business without any money. It doesn't work. And I have had people do credit cards as well, and put, you know, a majority of it on their credit card. You just have to be really careful that you have to be willing to lose it too, right? And that's always the risk with starting a business. So that's why I love for you to start small. And get started small. All right. Well, there are links in the comments in the chat. Thanks, Dina, for doing that. And I think that's all for me today. I will be back in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to talk about the magic number of what it's going to take to actually like pay yourself, be able to quit your full-time job, make this your full-time job, to not be wearing all of the hats, and to really grow your business so that it is sustainable. And that, I think, is what everyone is getting into this for. I don't think anybody's getting into CPG, into this industry, to work, 12 hours a day for the rest of your life. and be slaving away. You are getting into this business because you want to give impact. You want to make an impact and you want to give value, and you're doing something that you love. So how can we get you to break through and get to the other side? And what is that number? What is that magic number? I have the answer for you coming up in a few weeks. So definitely stay tuned for that. All right, you guys, have an amazing day. Thanks for tuning in, and go check out Food Business Success. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, like this video, and comment below. Have an amazing day.